Hello there everyone, welcome to another great video game ideas not used video, GVGINU for short. As always, I'm Andre and it is a pleasure to share my thoughts with you. Disclaimer at the beginning of this video, the numbers that I'm going to state and say are just rough estimates. There's no way that these numbers can be perfectly accurate, but it is to represent a point. And if you cannot understand that point and do not wrap your head around it, then I apologize for that. But like I said, this is just to make a specified point. That being said, Ubisoft CEO has come out to say, Yves Guillemot has come out to say that people who game on Nintendo consoles don't necessarily play or care about M-rated games and more or less prefer the games in the vein of Just Dance, of the Just Dance series. Now, I don't really know if he believes this or not, but I feel like that came out of his behind. Two reasons. Firstly, Zombie U, I think, is the best selling Ubisoft game on the Wii U at the moment, which is a mature rated game. And second reason is the Just Dance series in total on the Wii U has not sold as many copies. Now, I don't know about the Wii necessarily. I'm pretty sure that probably did pick up a lot of sales, and more or less that's probably because there were not a whole lot of games coming out for the Wii, and whoever has the Wii now probably isn't interested in a whole lot of hardcore games. Well, what would be considered hardcore games, because in my mind there actually aren't any hardcore games, just people who play them in a hardcore or a casual manner. That being said, I'm getting off that point. But looking at it, there's a couple things to think about here. Like I said, that was definitely misinformation. There's no way that that could be accurate at all. But looking at this, just looking at the fact that Zombie U by itself has sold more than the Just Dance series on the Wii U up to this point, because obviously if they release more Just Dance games on the Wii U, they will eventually overtake it. Probably with the next one it will happen. But the total sales so far up to this point are below that of Zombie U by itself, which was a singular IP. It was a new IP, and on top of that, it got bad press, bad reviews, and there was some advertising. I didn't see a whole lot of TV advertising, but I did see some online ads and things of that nature for the game. So it wasn't very well advertised. It was advertised though. Here's a couple problems with that. I mean, and also Just Dance usually is favored. It does get favorable reviews, at least from what I've seen before. I mean, I haven't checked out the last one's reviews because I really just didn't care enough about the game to even think about it. But I'm kind of baffled. Now, for those who are going to say this, that Ubisoft probably isn't making any money on the console, they have told you themselves that they are. You want to know how? The very same man, early on in the Wii U's, very early on in the Wii U's life, it's still kind of early, it's still early in the Wii U's life, very early on in the Wii U's life, said for them to develop, this isn't a port, to develop a game for the Wii U cost them roughly $1.3 million to develop a game on the Wii U. Okay? And they've also said that it is cheaper to develop games for the Wii U than it is for the Xbox 360 or the PS3. And another thing, it is highly easy for them to make ports of 360 games for the Wii U. And that is even cheaper than developing a full game for the Wii U. though it didn't really give a specified amount on porting versus developing, from the ground developing. So we're sticking with the 1.3 million as the rough base estimate here for putting a game on the Wii U for Ubisoft. I don't know how much it costs for everybody. I don't know if there are differing prices. I'm pretty sure it's not that expensive, as I remember somewhere else outside of Ubisoft saying this, that it only cost about $1 million to develop a game for the Wii U, which is cheaper than both of the current 7th generation consoles that are getting games, and both of the current generation consoles that are getting games. So all in all, right now, out of those on the market that are still getting games, the Wii U is the cheapest to develop for. Probably takes the most work, but it is the cheapest. Now, I did a rough estimate based on the number of sales that ZombiU had around the Wii U's launch, which I think was 500,000. I could be wrong. That's just what I'm remembering. I think that's what it was when the Wii U was at a 3 million user base. So let's do the rough math here. Take $1.3 million and divide that by 60. Not 1.3 million. Yeah, $1.3 million. Divide that by $60, which is the U.S. standard for a brand new Wii U game. That brings you to 21,667 units need to be sold to break even. To break even, they had to sell a little bit more than 20,000 units to break even. That was not even a tenth of the people who bought the game. And it is a decent game. It is a decent base to start up on, to build upon and make a better game afterward, like they did with Red Steel, which was a decent base, and people were new to motion control, and it was a first-person shooter in motion control, and I think the first one that was on the system. But it was a decent game, and they definitely improved upon it when they moved on to Red Steel 2. They could have taken the same step, same notion, and done it with ZombiU, but apparently they're not. Even though I've heard word back and forth that they might do it, then they might not do it. I don't know if it's ever coming. I doubt it is at this point. But again, that aside. So with a 500,000 units sold, and you take away that, you know what, use my calculator here. Take away that 21,667, you have 478,333 units that they made a profit on in the early life of the Wii U for ZombiU by itself, because they had put a couple other games out on the console at the time. This is from ZombiU by itself. Now, let's multiply that by the 60 standard. How much did they get? This is 28,699,980 US if we go by the $60 if we go by $60 as the standard and the price point in the US. So they definitely made money. They made a pretty big profit off of this game, and that's not even including the additional 200,000 users that bought the game as the install base grew for the Wii U. And again, this is with a game that has had bad press, bad reviews, that was panned basically everywhere. They still made a huge profit off of it, based on what they've said, based off the things that they have said. Not anything I've said, stuff that they have said. Now, like I said, this is an estimate because I can't vouch for all of the different exchange rates and costs in different countries. That's why this is an estimate. It can't be perfectly accurate. Now, this also does not include the digital sales or the sales of the bundle with ZombiU for the Wii U. So that ever increases their profit. I don't know how by how much, because obviously I would need those numbers, or at least an estimate of those numbers to give an idea. But I'm just saying, that's kind of, you know, screwed up. They made a pretty decent profit, because they've stated, like I said, with their own words, that the Wii U is the cheapest console, home console, for them to develop for. And I look at that and I'm like, wow, they made bank even without breaking 1 million units. They made bank off of this game. Just ZombiU. This isn't including all the Assassin's Creed games that have been put on the console, Rayman Legends, the Just Dance series. They've made a pretty decent amount of money off of Wii U alone. I'm not saying that they haven't made more on the other platforms, because obviously they sold a lot more on the other platforms in total. But did they meet the profit margins that they want? Maybe not. And that's probably the real reason as to why they are dropping support of their AAA games. They didn't meet the profit margins that they felt like they should have. And that is more or less probably what it is. Now, even with this number, this 28 million, 28.7 million number, I would cut out 10 million in that for advertising for ZombiU, because I don't know what they spent on it. Though I don't know, I do know that they advertise, I just don't know how much they put into advertising. And honestly, it doesn't bug me that Ubisoft is pulling their AAA support from Nintendo, because honestly, if they're not going to make the games proper on the console in the first place, I'm probably not going to get them on that. Not saying I won't ever get them, but at the same time, I'm looking at it like, if you're going to dog a group of people, an audience, give a real reason. Don't placate to what the masses say. Give a valid and true reason, and you will keep my respect. And more than likely, you might possibly keep me as a customer if the reason is valid enough. And I've liked a lot of Ubisoft's games. I'm not even going to lie. I've enjoyed them. But I'm not going to support this type of attitude. I wouldn't care if they... And I don't even like the way they treat PC gamers, to be honest. It's like you hold back the game on a platform that should not be held back at all, because you want to cater to two companies, which to me is kind of screwed up. I'm sorry, but they should not have pulled what they did with Watch Dogs on the PC. That is my personal opinion, and I think PC gamers have a right to be ticked off about that. I would be too. But you tell me that this game looks like this on this platform, and then I can't get that on this platform because you intentionally gimp it? If I'm gonna spend the money on the PC, then I want the game to look as best as it can. But I also feel sorry for Xbox One and PS4 owners that were promised a look and they didn't get it. And they were promised this super amazing game, and they didn't get the super amazing game. They got a relatively decent game with an okay storyline. That's not the same thing, and plus the hacking is done with a singular button, and that kind of sucks. There's nothing to really make you get into the hacking, even though this is a game about hacking with Watch Dogs. But let me get off of that point. Which that will be the last mature rated Wii U game that Ubisoft puts out on the console. At least for now. Mr. Guillermo, I respectfully disagree with your position. I respectfully will not be purchasing any more Ubisoft games at this point on any platform. Because I do plan on getting an Xbox One. I'm going to get in PS3 sometime in the near future. I want to play all those PS3 exclusives. I'm not getting it for my Xbox 360. And when I do eventually build the PC I want, I'm not getting there either. It's stuff like that that turns gamers off, makes them not want to support you. And that's just how I feel as a gamer. Hopefully people can understand this. Like I said, and my choice is for me. It's not for everybody. And these rough numbers that I was given was just to prove a point in the show that, you know, hey, they're wrong. So thank you very much for watching. I know you heard the noises my kids were making in the background playing with toys and stuff. I'm kind of where they can see me, so thank you very much again for listening and watching. Hopefully this sunk in some. I want to also give a shout out to Twilight Bites for his video, because he went on the philosophy of them not wanting to work within Nintendo's ecosystem, which is why they are pulling support. That is also a valid reason. That is also a valid point to take. That might be true. My point is probably not getting the money that they want to have. But I'm gonna go in a second. But thank you very much for watching. Again, I've probably said it like 3 or 4 times now. Keep your eyes and ears out for more of my stuff, and please, until the next time, enjoy your games.